the field. That's all right. Just flick on from a corner. Get to the middle, Sean. Hey, right. Sean, get up there. Oh. Just get the touch. Sean, get the foul. Lingers a foul. He's not touched the ground.
Now it was April and the regular season was nearing its end. If they finished in the top 2 places, they'd go up automatically.
1 to the back. 2 to the back. Okay.
Meanwhile, the next game was against Leicester, who had just as good a chance of promotion. Swindon had already lost to them earlier in the season, so it was always going to be a hard match.
You've got this football match and it's like a controlled arena, but you want this violence, you want this aggression, you know, you want everyone does, you know, the manager does, and the crowd to a certain extent, as you've been saying, wants it as well. Yeah. And then is it any surprise that it then, you know, who's to say well it stops here? No, it's putting it, you know.
No, I was putting it that way. I mean, as you say, that's probably the reason they explain it to. Like if anyone says, "Oh, why are you an hooligan?" He might say, "Well, look, you know, there's 11 hooligans out there, I suppose." See violence on the pitch in England week in, week out. Just, I mean, if you go to one game, you might not get it, but you can get it at another one. And I don't know. I mean, it's probably I mean, you come all the way around the houses, really, back to the mouth thing, and that you want to be stronger than the man next to you. And I still say that's the case on the football pitch. It might not be physically strong sometimes. It might even be mentally strong sometimes. I think you got to put the two together with football, because the mental side of it is as big as the physical, but it's that you want to beat the man next to you or the side that you're playing against.
Portsmouth, John. Portsmouth won. They put my name on there. Birmingham got beaten. They could actually keep catches. Need a point, John. 1 point.
The 1-1 draw with Leicester effectively removed the chances of automatic promotion.
Is that his trick?
He's coming back before, because I've got to work at one. AD, he's better. He's a lot better. Got more movement and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So, what's our... John, have you got to check for you?
What we said was that I would say that a third of injuries that he gets in here, I mean, so many times in here come here, 6, 7, 8 people in here, are political, and players are not always injured when they say they are. And that's a bloody fact, isn't it, Kevin? Yes? Do you agree with me or not?
I wouldn't agree with that, for the simple reason. One day, in football, is going to be the greatest mistake ever made.
No, hang about. No, a minute. You can't say you wouldn't agree with that. You do agree with me.
Oh yeah, I agree with it.
You agree with me, but we can't...
I have got to go to a certain set of rules and standards. Now, sometimes you think, well, what am I doing this for? But it's got to be done.
You can't,
and that means a lot of expense.
You can't prove that the player's not injured in many cases, because it'll be like a groin strain, or it'll be all...
Well, you said yesterday a twinge.
Yeah, a twinge.
Well, I've never heard that word.
Yeah. A twinge,
I mean, you said, what's a twinge?
Yeah. If I had a twinge, I wouldn't even bother coming in here or anything, but other players would do. But, you know, you can't legislate for that. People got different pain thresholds, haven't they? But also, that's not the only thing that comes into it. It's, I think, well, am I playing in the reserves tomorrow? Do I want to play in the reserves? You know, have I got a little twinge? Perhaps if I was sitting here today, I have got a little twinge, and the manager will see it. And you think, oh well, we'll keep you out of the reserves tomorrow. We might need you for the first team Saturday. And it is political in that respect.
What about when you get substituted?
Well, when players get substituted, they don't like it. I mean, their pride's there, isn't it?
I don't think anybody does.
Fact. And very often players will come in here the next week after they've been substituted for a few times and
I don't think anybody
make out they're injured and they're not. And that bloody goes on, whether people like it or not. It's a fact. It's a fact. Players do it.
I think a lot of it, Carl, has a psychological effect on you. And I think that there's nothing like playing first team football, so I'm told. I've never played it.
Dead right.
I've never played it, so who am I to...
If you're in the first team and you've got a twinge, you wouldn't even think about it, would you? If you're in the reserve team, then you would think about it. I'm not talking generally. I'm talking some players. Without a doubt. I mean, especially at the moment, there's so much at stake. I'll bet there's 4, 5, 6 players in the first team now that are carrying little minor knocks. They wouldn't dream of coming in here. Is that right, Kevin?
I would say that's a fair assessment of the situation.
They desperately want their playoff place. Of course they do. I'd do the same. But I'll tell you what, if they were in the bloody reserve team with 2 games to go at the end of the season and nothing to play for, and there's quite a few that would be feeling their injury, it'd be straight.
What I find strange with your side of it actually is that you're basically here to heal people. You've got all these gadgets that heal people and you make injury better, and yet you seem to I hesitate using the word, but like you seem really proud when Sean goes out and plays through injury and plays with stitches in his...
No,
it's almost like you glorify the injury side of it.
No, I don't glorify it at all. That's just a different... I'm looking into the person's character there.
That's right.
It's not glorified.
He's admiring Sean Taylor's character.
I'm admiring Sean Taylor's character.
Tim Parkin came in here once. He played with 2 glass ribs, didn't he?
Yeah. And that's a person who is... now, but what... See, what...
Do you like it when they're in here or when they're not? Because...
I'm told, I've got a sick wife. I'd sooner be home. If I had enough money, I'd have retired... He will tell you. I'd have retired in 1990, if I had enough money, if I didn't need to work. She's got a terminal disease, i.e. brain tumour. And don't tell me about illness, and don't... All these, I've seen it all. I've seen on the life support, the tracheostomy. And they tell me, oh, I've got this, I've got that. And I'm a bit cynical about it all now. And that made me cynical. Because whatever these get, they're not going to die. Unless they have a blockage of the air passage and I can't release it. Unless they get a terminal disease. They're not going to die. Because nobody's ever died of an injury. Derek Dooley's had a leg off. Tommy Caton had a heart attack, but that wasn't an injury. That's a condition. Poor fellow. And then they get on to me about this and that, and I'm a bit cynical about it now. But I'd sooner be home with my wife.
But it seems a bit like MASH here sometimes, you know, 4077. Patch them up and send them out again, yeah.
It is, isn't it? It is, really.
Well, that's football. And you've got to have a sense of humour to work in it. You've got to know your men. Don't worry about it, just keep going. Look at that, better strike. Now you can ask Fraser. Bollocks. His angle was wrong, wasn't it? So you know where they are. Yeah. And that's where you can sometimes just on a blind one, I know where it is, I'll bend it in there. You know? Go on in you go. Not bad, unlucky. Don't mind that. You know where he is.
For players who were secure in the first team, the build-up to the playoffs was tense and exciting. For others, like Sean, it was just tense. Are you both still on the contract?